Joy Reid is leaving MSNBC as the network cancels her evening show. Okay. So originally, we just heard she was going to get a pay cut, right? So Rachel Maddow got her pay cut from like 8,000 million zillion dollars by
She
like
went
5
from
million.
35 million to 30 million.
Or I thought it was 30 to 25 million.
Oh, well,
Somewhere
what
around there.
she
Or
took a $5
25 to
million
20. It
year
was
pay cut.
somewhere around there, yeah. It was a $5 million difference, I believe, like somewhere in the 20s and 30s. And then also we heard we did a show about like there were 3 personalities on MSNBC that were going to get pay cuts. And now all of a sudden Joy Reid's leaving MSNBC altogether and they're going to cancel her evening show. I bet you $1 million she starts a podcast. Bill, give us the backstory on this. What's going on here? Just not making enough money or what?
I think it's very much a viewership rating. Now, I want to also be fair. So many people have been disenfranchised with how the left has handled the results of the last election, despite the fact that they're not looking beneath the numbers. That's another story for another time. And MSNBC, Morning Joe going down to Mar-a-Lago and bending the knee, that didn't help them either. But it's funny how their show didn't get cut. And Rachel Maddow, she took a pay cut to go from 35 to 30 million, 30 million to 25 million, whatever it is. She cannot afford the Gulfstream 6 anymore. She's got to go with the Gulfstream 5. God bless her heart. But my understanding is that this all took place on a Sunday, and this past Sunday, and it got leaked. It wasn't supposed to get out until Monday, but it got leaked to the press. And what a lot of people are speculating, but nobody can prove, is that Joy Reid refused a pay cut. And she said, no, I'm not taking a pay cut. What I do has value. And now she gets nothing.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I had not heard that part.
Yeah, I've heard that on multiple podcasts, multiple social media posts. I try not to put a lot of stock into Reddit because there's so much misinformation and garbage on Reddit. It's worse than Twitter and Facebook combined. It really is. But there's a lot of stuff out there where she refused a pay cut. And MSNBC said, okay, well, instead of going from 15 million to 12 million a year, now you get nothing a year and we don't need you.
According to the AP and a lot of other outlets, they're saying, right, like you said, that it emerged online over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was outrage from supporters of the show because they point to the impact it's had on elevating historically marginalized voices in today's media landscape. And
where were those supporters when the ratings were tanking back in December and November? When the ratings were tanking, where were those supporters then?
This is what Reid says. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has reached out with kindness and encouragement, both personally and in these social media streets. She posted to Blue Sky and Instagram. She's so very proud of the Reid Out team.
These social media streets.
Now you sent me something though about there being there was some tension with the staffers meeting with management. Yes. What happened there?
So from everything that I've read, and the one person that I talked to who works at MSNBC that is nowhere near attached to their primetime lineup, the Reid Out, the Rachel Maddow show or anything. This is somebody who works very much behind the scenes and like somebody who's rolling up the cable position. The meeting happened and it was tense, and a lot of the staffers were highly upset.
If you go to Allison Wine Promo and you sign up for the club, Bill's out of here for a second, you will get 6 bottles of amazing wine every 3 months. Okay, so 6 bottles from different places like Chile, Argentina, Spain, France, Italy. Some of the bottles come from between 6,000 and 9,000 feet. So those are extreme altitude wines. They're all grown in very remote places where there are very few people. So there's far fewer pesticides used in the area. The grapes are grown with the utmost care because these are vineyards that have been, in some cases, in families for 200 years, and they're still using the same winemaking technique. So don't go to the grocery store to get your wine. Sign up for AllisonWinePromo.com. You'll keep the show going, and you'll get an amazing glass of wine, and you can give them away. You're not a wine drinker, then all you have to do is keep them. and wrap them up. And the next time you have a party, a birthday, holiday, Valentine's Day, Bill's anniversary is coming back up, then you'll have a bottle of wine ready to go.
I go back to, I'm not going to celebrate Joy Reid getting fired and her show being canceled because, yeah, she's made her money and she's going to be fine. But there are people who were working on that show, rolling up cameras or rolling up cable, moving cameras, who are probably going to lose their job. And they were making 40, 50,000 a year in one of the most expensive places to live. So they're going to lose their job. So I will never celebrate, a big name losing their job, because it's going to cost a lot of us little names a lot more of them losing their job too. But the understanding is when that meeting broke, people were immediately on both sides of the aisle, MSNBC and the staffers were immediately texting people and posting stuff to social media. And I've heard, I don't know this, can't confirm it, but the rumor is there was a second meeting where they were like, hey, get off your phone, stop doing this. But by then the toothpaste was out of the tube and it was too late.
All right. This allegedly was her crying about it all on a podcast. Okay.
Have value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV.
Joy Reid breaking down in tears over the cancellation of her MSNBC show, The Reid Out.
As you can imagine, I have been through every emotion over the past several days, from, anger, rage, disappointment, hurt, feeling that, guilt, that I let my team lose their jobs.
The TV correspondent emotional over her firing during an appearance on the Win with Black Women podcast.
I'm sorry. That what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't have any ill will towards her. I think she's rightly been questioned as somebody who's expressed some ideas that potentially may have made the country worse when it comes to race relations. So I think these are fair criticisms that people have had, towards her commentary. But I don't think that those opinions or anything per se, I don't think she was canned over like anything she said. At least I haven't read anything like that. But like you said, the stuff she said over time, maybe people just get bored with hearing, even if you agree with her, the people who disagree are definitely not watching her. The people who agree with her, I don't know if we're past this era of, wanting to watch like angry race talk anymore. I just don't. Agreed. I think we're kind of past that, and that was really it's not all of her shtick, but that was kind of part of what she was doing. And it seems like MSNBC is stacking their lineup to be, dare I say, somewhat more balanced. I don't know, Bill.
I'm not even going to go that far, because MSNBC is replacing her with two people of color, Simone Sanders, who, depending on where you're at, she's even worse. But that primetime spot is going to Simone Sanders, a former RNC chair who's now liberal left-wing, and some journalist, her name's Diaz or Menendez, something like that. I don't know. Here's why I don't think it has anything to do with race. And this is going to be, if you want to clip a controversial part of Tittle Tattle, now's the time. 3, 2, 1. Okay. One of the most pro-Black voices in African-American community right now is Jermaine Shoemake, aka Dr. Umar Johnson. If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. And one of his recent episodes, or where he showed up on the Breakfast Club, the popular morning show, he said that Black women who have blonde hair are suffering from psychological damage. So is that what's going on with Joy Reid? I mean, is he calling her out, or what's going on? I don't understand. And maybe that's way beyond my pay grade, and that's fine. But that's why I don't think it has anything to do with race. I think it's more about numbers. I think it's more about money. And I think it's more about she's had so many falsehoods and so many lies. She's the Bill O'Reilly of the left.